Most mowers, no matter how beat up they are, still work to some degree as a lawnmower, but what happens when someone at corporate has a great idea to streamline a process that could potentially save them money and, more importantly, net that person a bonus check? You end up with a mower with one of the lowest ratings and that could potentially be a very difficult mower to use. In today's video, we look at this Bolens lawnmower that has a very unique issue that unfortunately stems from cost-saving measures. The problem with this mower is that the front wheels are very misaligned. Not only do they have a lot of camber where the wheels lean inward, but also too much toe where the wheels are turned inward towards the center of the mower. Both issues stem from the same problem, which is the plastic front end has basically failed. Now, I'm going to try and repair this mower, however, it may not be the exact repair you need to make to yours. We'll explore other options later in the video. Now, we're only going to mention what these other options could be. We don't have enough time to look into them, but if you need more information on these options, you're welcome to ask as many questions as you need to. So why is this a big deal? I mean, this mower still rolls, right? It sure does, but if you've ever driven a car with the front wheels misaligned, it makes it really difficult to drive, and ultimately, it's a safety hazard. Now, but this isn't a car, it's just a mower. Sure, but it's meant to be used as a tool. If it's not tracking correctly, it could run over something in the yard you're trying to avoid, or worse yet, someone's toe. Now, there's also something wrong with the muffler because it's loose, and I need to fix it because otherwise it makes a rattling noise while the engine is running. Now, these simply spin into the engine, but this one is not doing that. It just keeps spinning, never getting tighter, nor can I take it off, but I'm not going to worry about that until we fix the front end. To show you just how bad the wheels are misaligned, I'm going to use an app on my phone to measure how far off the wheels are from being perpendicular to the ground. I'm going to use it on the table first, that way I'll know if the table is affecting my readings, and as you can see, the reading for the table is 1 degree off from being horizontal, which is pretty good. Ideally, we want to see a reading of 0. Now, if we use it on the left wheel, it says it's anywhere between 94 and 96 degrees, which to be honest is pretty good. It means this side is only a few degrees off from being perpendicular to the ground, which is what we want. Ideally, we want to see a reading of 90 degrees, but 6 degrees off isn't bad. However, this reading is pretty invalid because the weight of the mower isn't being applied to it. Unfortunately, this is the best way for me to measure it, so we're going to have to keep doing it this way. Now, if we go to the right side wheel, this is where we have some major issues. The app says the wheel is anywhere between 77 and 79 degrees, which means this wheel is more than 10 degrees away from being perpendicular. That might not sound like a lot, but trust me, it looks much worse in person. If I move the phone to 90 degrees, you can see just how far away the phone is from the top of the wheel. Like I said, this is pretty bad. Just for comparison, if I measure one of the rear wheels, which is on a much sturdier piece of plastic, we can see it's pretty close to 90 degrees. So there's definitely something going on with the front end, and we need to inspect it and see what might have happened to it. So I've got the front of the mower up in the air, and we can't see much of the structure. That means we'll need to remove 5 large screws so we can take off the front plastic piece, wheels and all. You can either use a large Torx driver, or in my case, I'm going to use a socket instead. To make things easier, I really should have used a power tool to take the screws off. After removing the plastic piece, it's nice to see that part of the metal deck does help to support it. The metal supports are even braced, which makes it very unlikely to bend out of place. Unfortunately, that means the plastic part is more than likely going to be our problem. As you can see, the structure is mostly open with some bracing, which does offer some support, but as you'll see here in a minute, it might not have been enough. So this metal plate is where the bolt for the wheel threads into, and I'm looking to see if there's any damage here, but it looks to be intact. However, if you look towards the inside, you'll see there's a break at one of the supports. Now this side wasn't that bad, and we know that because this is the side that wasn't too far off alignment. It's the other side that will see more damage to it. Now the part I'm pointing to is the part of the plastic that makes contact with the metal support, and as you can see, it's broken in the corner, which means it's allowing the plastic to deform, causing our alignment issues. There's also the same damage on this side to the inner support like the other side as well. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to get creative to try and fix all this plastic. So this is my solution. I used my soldering iron to melt the plastic back together while I tried to close the gaps up in the plastic. This was a lot harder to do than I thought, and it also required both hands and a lot of my body weight to do it, which meant filming it was pretty much out of the question. I also had to use some wire to help brace the larger breaks because more than likely the plastic is going to break there again anyway. Now this is not a permanent solution, it's a trial to see if it'll hold or if I have to go even further to fix it. Another option when it comes to fixing this part is to replace it with a good used one or to buy a new one. The problem is I haven't found a good used one for sale anywhere. Now you can still find them new, but then again you're going to have to pay a fair price for them at around $40. Now if you're flipping these mowers as a hobby, having to replace this part will severely cut into your profits. Now that I have the front plastic back on, I'm going to do my measurements once again and see if there's any improvements. Now this side really didn't have much of an issue, so I really don't expect much of a change here, which there isn't. However, I do believe the toe has improved quite a bit. Now I didn't get a measurement on the toe because I don't have a really good way of measuring it. Now we get to the real problem with this front end. So the app is showing a reading in the range of 78 to 81 degrees. Now that's not as good as the other wheel, but there is a 1 degree change from before our fix. So you know what that means? Our fix didn't do anything for the issue, and that means the only way to fix it is to replace the plastic part. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Before I explain what I mean, I do want to try and fix this muffler. It's loose and spinning it in either direction does nothing to it. I had a plan to basically tear the muffler apart and remove what was left in the engine, but I have a much better idea. I'm going to use my large flathead screwdriver to deform the back of the muffler where I think it's broken. This might be enough to help lock the larger part of the muffler to the threaded section, and then I might be able to tighten it. It seems like that might have done it. The muffler is now tight and it's not going to rattle while the engine is running. I do want to start the mower and see if the rattling has stopped, and also to use the mower with the wheels this badly aligned. I also want to lube the cables because they're a bit stiff as well. I'm really surprised how well this little mower did in this tall grass. Now it's not thick here, which really helped it not bog down, and the fact that this is only a side discharge mower. The only time it's really going to have a problem is when the grass is wet. So the reason the front end is not going to be replaced anytime soon is because it simply doesn't need it. I mowed these 2 long passes only using one hand, and the fact is this mower doesn't have enough weight on the front end to really care if the wheels are slightly misaligned. Now they can't be turned completely in the wrong direction, but as long as they're pointing forward, you're not going to have a hard time using this mower. So in the end, this mower starts and runs and cuts perfectly fine, and it's easy to use because it's a simple mower that doesn't weigh a lot. And since it looks brand new and it's not missing anything, I don't think I'm going to have a hard time selling it. And if for some reason I can't sell it, I'm just going to use it as a backup mower until the market gets to a better place. So my question is, would you have wasted your time even looking into why the wheels were misaligned? Now most people would have used it regardless of how the wheels were leaning, but would it have mattered to you if it was your own personal mower? Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate your time here. Please feel free to ask me any questions about this project or your own projects, and I hope to see you in the next video.